It's always something to get off the plate.
Okay. So if somebody tunes in, that's what they'll see.
Really?
Yep, that just, don't worry about it.
I just barely went over that, and it
At this, yeah, I know. At this point, I'd be more afraid of losing.
Are we live? We're live.
We should be live.
That means when he comes up here and messes around, it's gonna see it.
Yep. So what?
Should I turn off the volume? Should I mute it?
Hi, Michael. Yeah, I know. I know. Yeah, we do. The mouse pad's very sensitive, and Marydell stayed on it a little bit too long, and it went live. So it's just going to be that way. I don't want to turn it off for fear we can't get it back on again. Okay? Okay, fine.
Should I mute it? Control N?
No, because that really works on OBS.
So is it?
Just leave it. Oh,
I have to tell him not to go up there to this library. Because they don't let her touch that again, Ruth Ann. Fire her.
Yeah, that's Mike Benishing. You're live.
I know.
Yeah, I know we're live.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So clear up glasses. Anyhow, I went to the ENT guy. Who did I see? I can't remember his name. He's retiring at the end of March, though.
Oh, he's supposed to be the best.
Oh, yeah, but that's who I saw.
Okay.
And he prescribed some medication to get rid of the cough. And I haven't been coughing nearly as much.
No.
Because he says it could be a combination of things. It could be acid reflux. It could be just the fact that I've been coughing for such a long time that the nerves are just so messed up around there that anything makes me cough. So he put me on 2 acid reflux medications and a gabapentin, which is a nerve medication.
Right.
And it's helping. I have to go back to see him in a month. And I signed up for allergy testing, so I have to wait until March for that too.
Okay,
So
well, you did something.
Yeah.
I hope that helps.
And we'll see what happens.
I don't have the coughing stuff, I just have.
Okay.
And allergies are really high now. There was pollen alert the other day. So it started, it's spring.
It's spring. Hey, when you walk into the store, they're selling tomato plants. I mean, you know, I don't know about in New Mexico, but in Pittsburgh, if you planted your tomatoes before the middle of May, you ended up with frostbite on them.
In New Mexico, in Los Alamos, you couldn't plant anything until after Mother's Day. Nothing, and that was just kind of like a rule of thumb.
Yep. It's everything in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, we've tried growing tomatoes twice. And we're like, never again. Here.
I wouldn't even try here.
I even bought one of those grow boxes. That's supposed to be it. And we got the horrible green worms and like forget it.
Well, first of all, I mean, I don't have any place really to do it except on my patio, which doesn't get, I mean, it gets the afternoon sun, but I don't know if it'd be enough sun for tomato plants, number one. And I'd just be too worried if I tried to put it outside. First of all, the HOA would frown on it, and it would just attract javelina anyhow.
Oh yeah.
So.
Yeah, no, I just said forget it. Geraniums and lantanas, that's about all.
Okay. I try putting you on it and you can still continue to fog up. Yes. Somebody's here. Oh,
Hello.
hello.
Your car's not here, or your golf cart's not here, so I wasn't sure you were here.
My feet are here.
Your feet are here. Good.
That was my means of transportation.
Yep.
Right, there's some benefits for not living at well.
Well, I said, when we started talking about moving for retirement, I said, one of the things that I would like to really be is just walking distance from the center. Well, that one didn't last very long, did it?
Anyhow, we'll warn you. The mouse pad was very, very sensitive when Marydale went.
Marydale went over it.
We're live already, so when you go up there, you're on.
Oh, okay. Well, I have to tune up and things like that.
Yeah, well, I'm just warning you.
But I can do it off to the side.
It's kind of volume up.
Yeah, and at this point, I was more leery about ending it, just leave it alone. You know, if I ended it, could we restart it? I don't know, so let her go.
You turn the volume off?
No, just leave it.
Okay.
They're hearing everything. Anybody who's on, you know, they can hear every word we're saying, that's it. Yeah. Oh, and I found the shirts that Joyce was talking about this morning. There are two ladies, we have two shirts and they're both the ladies large.
Two shirts and a
The shirts, remember the shirts we were talking about that they said there were a couple here? They're both a ladies large.
Okay.
So.
Well, Lynn might take one.
How's Lynn doing?
How's she feeling?
Next question.
Okay. That's not a good answer, though. That was not the answer we wanted to hear.
Did you hear from anybody else who wanted to come today?
Only a Messianic.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Maybe they know something we don't.
Yep. This guy called the temple a couple times. I finally connected with him the other day. And I just told him, I was very polite, very nice. Didn't tell him that he wasn't welcome. Just told him that we were closed. Didn't tell him we were streaming, you know, it didn't give him any options. He wanted to come Friday night to blow shofar.
To blow shofar?
I told him to blow shofar on Friday nights. Jane and her husband got appointments for shots.
We get our second one tomorrow.
Do you?
Now apparently Pima County doesn't have the quota that they thought they were gonna have, right?
Yes, Sid's supposed to get his next one on the 8th, and I go up again on the 6th. Because I only have to wait 3 weeks in between mine.
She's doing Moderna.
I'm doing Pfizer.
Oh, you're doing five,
Five.
so we're doing five. And my neighbor went up, got her second one yesterday. They told him the only one that's having trouble getting is preservative.
And that's all they're giving around here.
Yeah. But not.
Oh, so you got five.
She hasn't had him yet. There's 3 people watching. You and me.
What?
3 people watching. You and me and Matt.
Oh. No, I'm not on.
Oh, I know.
When Michael called to say that we were live, I didn't need to check. There's nothing's not fixable.
What's a good key for that? Better not.
Hello.
You're broadcasting.
We know.
Good job.
Shabbat shalom.
We know we are.
Okay. I was just signing in for my wife. And it picks up every time.
We know how sensitive this microphone is.
Hello? What? Oh, okay. I will, yes, I see that. Okay, I will fix it. Bye.
Too bright with the windows, right?
The other side. It's too bright.
Oh, it's gonna bring out a bottle of water. Okay. Do.
They're predicting more snow for the east coast. I'm glad I'm not there.
Until we have confirmed everything with services or arrangements and almost confirmed for Dory, I'm not reading her name yet. Don't read the name till after burial.
Right. Do you know, is it going to be here?
It's not going to be, most likely it's a cremation.
Oh.
And most likely, hi David.
Hey.
And most likely we'll wait because Mel was not good.
Whoa.
So most likely after Mel passes, we'll do a memorial service for both.
Okay.
I'm supposed to talk to the daughter again tonight. So that most likely is.
It's all. Did you get your shop today?
Oh, so you may be excited.
Oh, we have, yeah. My arm's sore. When did you get it? This morning? At 9. Oh, see, that's, I got mine at about 2 o'clock. So I guess a lot of people got there because the UCHC, everybody who got it, both Florida and Amato and everyone, all got it today. 425 people. Wow. Anyway, that's interesting.
What?
Did we put a different camera up?
No.
Okay, because it's not as bright as it usually is.
It's the monitor.
Oh, it's just the way
It's
she
the
got it.
monitor.
Ah, there we go. Okay. It's the older that. Yeah, well, with the others out there, it has just made it very dark in the middle. We put the air conditioning on and we did it.
What?
It's cool.
Yeah. Well, it's the heat's turned down.
Yeah, I thought that.
And I didn't turn it back
Yeah,
on.
there's, yeah, you see, get your shot.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
Oh,
I was sore for,
Yeah,
2, 3.
which did you get?
Pfizer.
Oh.
So I'll go back in 2 weeks, 2 weeks from tomorrow.
Just 2 weeks from now, I'll be able to do what I want, when I want, and not worry. That's all I'm waiting
Going to the calendar and doing this.
Yeah.
They'll let you have the big house.
for. Is he?
He doesn't do that.
I didn't know. That's it. Oh, it's a shame. He was one of the first 3 or 4 people, you know, that I met here, because he was doing the shopping when I came on board. And so I was buying the bagel breakfast with Michelle, and he was buying the temple, and I took over from him for everything.
I don't know if I ever met him. I know I spoke to him on the phone because we needed some supplies for the outing. And they told me to call him out because he was the shopper. And I called him and he said, "Oh, I don't do anything for the outing." Okay.
Is it special?
No, but no, Roman, when I started here, needed supplies for the outing. So I was told he was the shopper. And so I told him up, he says, "No, I don't do anything for the outing, you're on your own."
One or the other of you want to come up to light the candles?
Mary Jo, you think like, I don't.
You want me to wear my mask up there?
Yeah, whatever you're comfortable.
I'm good to be ready.
Go ahead.
You know, I was in the car.
Move south, move south.
Ordered a warrant
I-
until about 8:30. Right there.
Okay.
I got out of the car. and I was
Maridale's gonna like, and she'll be looking at your mask off, right? So you'll move
That's
aside, right?
how long I was sitting.
Or I can wear it up there.
Or I can put mine on.
You know, by the time we left at 2:30, there was nobody there. Nobody coming.
They got everybody.
And I think they did.
Wow, that's very impressive that they were able to get the vaccine and because they keep talking about the shortage here in Pima.
Yeah, well, my brother, he couldn't get his shot today because they were short a couple of people.
Now, when we went to Phoenix, I mean, I thought it was elaborate, like a keynote, 4 lines. They had 10 lines going at the same time up at Phoenix. And you gave them the registration number and they wrote it on your windshield, your car. And as you went from 10 to 10 to 10, they checked you off. And that last 10, they wiped your window.
Yeah, that's what they did.
It was very organized.
Yeah.
What seems to be the issue is the supply.
Yeah.
Not so much, you know, the logistics that they don't know what the people's are.
Couple more minutes. It's
Anybody-
4:28 according to this.
Oh, okay.
And we have 6 people on.
That includes that somebody from here or not?
Are you on?
I'm on.
Includes Mary Jo. I'm not on.
You're almost always on. What's
At home, my
Oh.
wife is on. That's why she called me, telling me about the.
All right.
Yeah, I was just ready to get on, and then you called and I don't have to.
Yeah,
I just need to know we're on.
how many you on?
There's 6 showing. And, I mean, when we say this, we'll edit all this out. It'll be done.
I could put it in my mouth, you can, but
Yeah, you can turn it off. I know we're live, so. And I know this can't remember the microphone here. I've tried being in the back of the room, so we can pick it up to mix it up.
Yeah. Everything we're saying right now.
Yeah. So as long as we're not talking dirty, you know, who cares?
I think I should call.
You want to be quiet?
Every word you say, it's gonna
Perfect. This isn't, the monitor's not on, but I
You
don't
want it
really
on?
need it. Nah. Then I always wind up turning to the left anyway.
Is it on now?
No, not, there we are. Shabbat Shalom. Good Shabbos and welcome. A few of us are here in the sanctuary, Beth Shalom Temple Center in Green Valley. We welcome all who are joining us at home as well. Our worship will follow pages in Mishkan Tefillah in this blue Siddur, and we invite you to follow along and to sing along and read along. We won't hear you, but we'll have a good sense that we are together in community, no matter where we sit in our sanctuaries. For indeed, as we will mention, the Torah portion this Shabbat, the commandment is V'asuli mikdash v'shachanti b'tocham. Though the children of Israel are commanded to build a sanctuary, build a mishkan, a holy place, God says, I will dwell amongst them, wherever they may be. So whether you're here in our sanctuary, socially distanced, whether you are at home, may we all find God in our presence this evening for Shabbat. Page 10, the top of page 10. Hine ma tovu manahi, shevet achim gam yachad. 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 At the bottom of the page, Hachama berosh hailanot nistalka, bo'u v'netzei likrat Shabbat hamalka. Hine hi yoredet hakedusha haberucha, ve'ima malachim tzva shalom u'menucha. Boi, boi, hamalka. Boi, boi, Hakala. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei HaShalom. And in English, the sun on the treetops no longer is seen. Come gather to welcome the Sabbath, our Queen. Behold her descending, the holy, the blessed, and with her the angels of peace and of rest. Draw near, and here abide. Draw near, O Sabbath bride. Peace also to you, you angels of peace. May we all be Malachei HaSharet, Malachei HaShalom. May we all be angels of peace and divine service on this Shabbat. We welcome each other. We welcome the Shabbat with the ritual to light and bless our Shabbat candles on page 2. Page 2, Merdel, we invite you to lead us.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzilanu lehalikne Hashem.
Amen. Good Shabbos, and thank you. On page 5, our Kiddush. We sanctify the wine and give thanks for Shabbat, for creation of the world, and for our deliverance from Egypt. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava uvratzon hinchilanu zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit ki hu yom techila למקראי קודש, זכר לציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת, מכל העמים, ושבת קודשך, באהבה וברצון, הנחלתנו, ברוך אתה אדוני. Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen. L'chaim. First the wine and then the water. And no, it doesn't make me a shicker. I'm sorry. You know, come on. This is a prayer written by my colleague, Rabbi Leah Dobern-Shor, as we approach our formal time of worship. Dear God, we ask that you be there for us as you were for our ancestors. May you be a pillar in our midst and always present. Help us to turn to you, O God, for guidance during troubled times. Give us strength for the weeks ahead. Help us to reach out in love and compassion to one another, to support those who are ill, unable to leave their homes, those who are struggling financially. Be with our doctors and caregivers, our nurses and scientists, as they work to develop and provide the cure and the care for all those who are ill. Be with all of us, be with our families, offering us your compassion, and we pray your healing. Be with our leaders, guide them to wise decisions in these troubled days. Be with us, O God, and help us to find the inner strength to be patient when our nerves are tested. Be our still waters when we are surrounded by fear, when we are surrounded by anxiety. Be our rock to whom we can turn and give our worries and our fears. Be our shelter, O God. Guide our steps, keep us safe, and help us to feel your presence, even in these times of change. Page 24. Again, we welcome the ministering angels into our midst. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mihi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mihi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Baruchuni l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mihi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzeitchem l'shalom, Malachei Hashalom, Malachei Elyon, Mihi Melech, Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Page 26. Yitkadal v'yitkadash Shemei Rabbah, V'yalma livrach yidutei v'yamlich malchutei, V'chayechon uv'yomechon, uv'chayed chol beit Yisrael, B'hagala, B'hagala, uv'yizmahan kahariv, V'yimeru, Amen. Yehei Shmei Rabbah Mevorach, Leolach Mulal Meyol Maya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yitpa'ar, V'yitromam, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal, Shemei D'Kudsha, B'richu, Le'ela min kol birchata v'shihirata, Tushbechata v'nechemata, Damiran Bialma, Bimeru, Amen. Our call to worship on page 28. I invite you, if you are comfortable to do so, to please rise. La 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 la. La 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach Baruch Adonai HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed HaMevorach HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed. Page 30. Baruch Ata Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bidvaro ma'ariv aravim, b'chokhmah poteach she'arim, uvitvuna mishana itim, umachalif et hazmanim, umesader et hakochavim b'mishmerotehem barakia kirtzono, boreim v'layla, golel or mitnei choshech v'choshech mitnei or, uma'avir yom umevi layla, umavdil bein yom uvein layla Adonai tzavaot shemo, El Chai v'Kayam, Tamid Yimloch Aleinu Leolam Va'ed, Baruch Ata Adonai, Hama'ariv, Aravim. Together in English on page 32. Everlasting love, you offered your people Israel by teaching us Torah and mitzvot, laws and precepts. Therefore, Adonai our God, when we lie down and when we rise up, we will meditate on your laws and your commandments. We will rejoice in your Torah forever. Day and night we will, for they are our life, and doing them lengthens our days. Never remove your love from us. Praise to you, Adonai, who loves your people Israel. Baruch ata Adonai, Ohev Amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem, Kevod Malchuto, Leolam Vaed. You may be seated. Continuing with the words of Deuteronomy, V'yahavta et Adonai Elohecha, v'chol vavcha, u'v'chol nafshecha, u'v'chol meodecha, v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele, asher anochi mitzavcha, hayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, v'shiftecha v'veitecha, uv'lechtecha v'derech, uv'shachmecha uv'kumecha, u'kshartam leyot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot bein einecha, u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uv'isharecha, leman tiskeru, Va'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'item kedoshim leloechem, ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, lihiyot lachem le'elohim, ani Adonai Elohechem. Amen. Page 39. Bottom of the page. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. May earth reveal your justice and love. From bondage in Egypt we were delivered. At Sinai we bound ourselves to your way. Inspired by prophets and instructed by sages, time and again we overcame oppressive forces. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Let us continue to work for the day when the nations will be one and at peace. Then shall we rejoice as Israel did, singing on the shores of the sea. Mikamocha ba'elim Adonai, Mikamocha nedar ba'kodesh, Nora tehilot, O Sefer. La 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 la, la 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 la. La 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 la. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha, bokei yam lifnei Moshe u'Miriam. Ze Eli anu ve'amru, Ze Eli ענו ואמרו, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות, עושה פלא. אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב, וגואלו מיד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, גאל Yisrael. Page 42, the bottom of the page, we pray together. Grant, O God, that we lie down in peace and raise us up, our guardian, to life renewed. Spread over us the shelter of your peace. Guide us with your good counsel, for your name's sake, be our help. And shelter us beneath the shadow of your wings. Defend us against enemies, illness, war, famine, and sorrow. Distance us from wrongdoing. For you, God, watch over us and deliver us. For you, God, are gracious and merciful. Guard our going and coming to life and to peace evermore. Blessed are you, Adonai, guardian of Israel, whose shelter of peace is spread over us, over all your people Israel, and over Jerusalem. Baruch atah Adonai, hapores sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim. V'shamru v'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat, לעשות את השבת לדורותה, ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל, עוד היא לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש, שבת ויהי נפש. Our tefillah, central part of our worship service, the Amidah, begins on page 46. The ark will be open. I invite you to rise and join in chanting with me the first several pages in Hebrew, and then we will continue silently, privately, Hebrew or English, whichever words of tradition or the thoughts and meditations of your own heart, whichever might be more meaningful for the moment. We're on page 46. Adonai sifatai tiftach, ufi yagi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Eloteinu v'imoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el HaGadol, HaGibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Ve'koneh HaKol, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואמהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר מושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם בעזרת שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני, מחיי הכל אתה רב להושיע. משיב הרוח ומוריד הגשם, מכלכל חיים בחסד, מחיי הכל ברחמים רבים. סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומתיר אסורים, ומקיים אמונתו משני עפר. מי כמוך בעל גבורות, ומידו מלך, מלך ממית ומחיה, ומצמיח ישועה, ונאמן אתה לחיות הכל. ברוך אתה אדוני, מחיי הכל. אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום ילדוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל HaKadosh. We continue silently, privately through page 60. Through page 60. On page 61, this prayer for peace together. Grant us peace, your most precious gift, O eternal source of peace. Give us the will to proclaim its message to all the peoples of the earth. Bless our country as a safeguard of peace, its advocate among the nations. May contentment reign within our borders, health and happiness within our homes. Strengthen the bonds of friendship and fellowship among all the inhabitants of every land. Plant virtue in every soul, and may the love of your name hallow every home and every heart. Praised are you, Eternal One, who blesses our people with peace. Baruch atah Adonai, hamvarech et amo Yisrael, bashalom. Oseh shalom bimromah, Uyaseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'imru, imru amen. Yaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yahaseh shalom, Yahaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yahaseh shalom, Yahaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yahaseh shalom, Yahaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yahaseh shalom, Yahaseh shalom, shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. And as we pray for peace, we also pray for healing and wholeness, thinking of and reaching out in thought and prayer and support to those who are ill, and those who are alone, those who are suffering, those who are in pain, those especially who are affected by the storms in Texas and other parts of our country. Indeed, all those whose spirit and strength is being challenged these days. Those who are giving of their sense of compassion, their sense of hope to all in need. We ask God's blessing upon them and upon us. We will turn to page 253. And before we join in Debbie Friedman's musical interpretation of the Misha Berach LaCholim, a prayer of healing for those who are ill, we think of these members of our community and our friends and loved ones whose names are on our Misha Berach list. We think of Chris Anderson, Harvey Beam, Sheila Berman, Nisima Bernhardt, Irene Case, Brian Clendenin, Joyce Cohn, Alan Delman, Heidi Demarest, Dennis Durante, Jerry Gale Feldman, Mark Feldman, Melissa Feldman, Jeffrey Saul Gervan, Phil Gidseg, Ruth Gossman, Warren Gratis, Kay Grask, John Halloran, Dawn Kitts, Sharon Laws, Fred Legat, Jan Lund, Michelle Matalon, George Morris, Yolanda Pilgus, Bernie Pincus, Marley Pincus, Lynn Roman, Mel Roman, Nancy Schwam, Cliff Schechter, Lori Sherman, Abraham Raphael Ben Shoshana, Lou Simon, Ruth Stevens, Art Webb, Daniel Wernick and Sarah Wernick, Alan Winter, and Sherry Wolk. We'll pause for a moment if there are other names, anyone here in the sanctuary at home, if you wish to mention publicly or privately in your heart.
George Sussman.
We wish them all refuah tanefesh, refuah taguf, renewal of body and spirit. In the middle of page 253. Mishabehera Avoteinu Mekor Habracha Lairimoteinu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Yishaberach Imoteinu Mekor Habracha Lavoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. As a people, a Jewish people, we pride ourselves on education, and we place great value in continuing to grow and study and learn and teach throughout all the stages of our lives. We take great delight and pride in the number of Jewish Nobel Prize winners, and there are endless jokes, certainly about our children or our future sons-in-law, daughters-in-law, those who will become doctors, lawyers, accountants, whatever. With this in mind, one might expect that the rabbis and the sages, or indeed all of our ancestors, would have no trouble with basic arithmetic. Yet, and this is something that was pointed out a number of years ago in a seminar that I studied with Rabbi Gary Ezra Oren of Los Angeles. He played around. Some of you know that I enjoy doing this also, playing around with different numbers and numerical interpretations and equivalencies of the Hebrew letters and Hebrew words. But Rabbi Oren decided to go in this direction. So some of this is quoting, some of this is paraphrasing, but I'm referring to his teaching and the ultimate value of the sense of education and how numbers can help us, especially as we study this week's Torah portion. As you know, if we count all the mitzvot, all the commandments that are included in the Torah, various lists, but there's general agreement that there are 613 in the Torah. Incidentally, almost 50 of them were in last week's Torah portion. In the Babylonian Talmud, the rabbis seemed less interested in figuring out exactly which mitzvah or the wording of which commandment would be included in the 613, and certainly what the listing would be of all of those numbers. They do, however, note and teach that the negative commandments total 365, or as I like to say, one no for every day of the year. Okay? And that leaves, if you're good in math, 613 minus 365 leaves 248. 248 is a number that we recognize. If 365 is all the days of the year, 248 has really at least two meanings that we like to teach. One is that it doubles, 2 and 4 and then 8, which of course you might know the phrase mitzvah goreret mitzvah, that each mitzvah you do leads to another mitzvah. So it doubles each time, but also 248. And as I look here, I don't see any medical professionals, but however, they may be at home. There may be medical professionals who understand that 248 is the number that the ancients thought were the number of moving parts in the body. And so that there was one positive commandment, there was one, thou shalt do this, or thou must do this for every part of the body. Meaning to say we should be mindful of our obligations all of the time, every day of the year, and with all of our body, soul, and being. Okay. There's more to learn from the different numbers, especially as they are affected with our worship, as we just have participated. The Amidah, or the Tefillah, as we refer to it now, for centuries was referred to as the Shmona Esrei, which is the number 18, even though it's been almost 1,000 years that there haven't been 18 prayers in that particular rubric, in that particular section. There are either 19 or 7, depending on which day of the week, but not 18 anymore. But we still use that number because 18 is a number that does resonate with us. It stands for Chai. When we are in the synagogue, COVID and different interpretations of our reality aside, when we are in the synagogue, we look to have a physical minyan, a quorum of 10 people. But we are encouraged, I'll say it positively, we are encouraged not to number up to 10. The rabbis base that on a quote from the prophet Hosea, who said that the children of Israel shall be as many as the sands of the sea, which must not be measured or counted. Therefore, it's inappropriate when people come into the synagogue for a community prayer. It's inappropriate, the rabbis thought, to actually count up to 10, because that's saying that that would qualify as all the stars in the sky. So therefore, different traditions, some of you may be familiar with some of these. Some of them it's nicht ein, nicht zwei, nicht drei, you're not one, not two, not three, or even counting the number of people who will come in by assigning each person a word from the lyric of the quotation Matovu. And once you have it, everybody here, you can sing the entire Matovu, which is one of the opening prayers, etc., etc., etc. There's different value on the words and on the numbers. In this week's Torah portion, it took me a while to get there, but I got there. Okay. In this week's Torah portion, here's how the number becomes important, and becomes important for us right now as we welcome Shabbat. The Torah portion, Terumah, talks about the construction of the Mishkan, of the place where God's presence shall abide in the holy place, in the Beit Mikdash, whether that's when we're the children of Israel walking through the wilderness, or whether once they come to Jerusalem and they build the temple in Jerusalem. But we are told in this week's Torah portion, you shall make a lampstand. Now, a lampstand is a translation of menorah. We know that word, right? Okay. You shall make a menorah, a lampstand of pure gold. 6 branches shall come from its sides, 3 branches from one side of the menorah, 3 branches from the other side of the menorah. Now, again, we're not talking about the Hanukkah menorah. We're talking about the older symbol, the menorah, the candelabrum, the lampstand, which the children of Israel had in the wilderness. Doesn't seem too difficult. It's described. A lampstand with 6 particular branches, and of course the center post, if you will. If we can't always be able to count to 613 or 18 or 19 or even 10, we can certainly count to 6 or 7. So one of these Sephardic rabbinic commentators of the 19th century taught the following. Each of the 7 branches of the menorah is connected to a particular one of Judaism's holidays. He suggests that the middle branch, the branch that all that all others rely upon, and that supports all of them, they have to have the middle one in order to exist. That middle part of the menorah is Shabbat. And this rabbi goes on to, his name is Yosef Chaim. He goes on to teach that the 3 branches on each side are a symbol of the other days of the week. While it's true that the basic unit of time is a 7-day week, Shabbat stands at the center of the week. Shabbat is like the central stem of the menorah, with on one side Wednesday, Thursday, Friday on the right, and Sunday, Monday, Tuesday on the left, noting that you're never more than 3 days away from Shabbat. Interesting thought. So for Rabbi Chaim Ben Ish Chai, and for many other teachers, the liturgy on Shabbat provides an additional hint before when we sing the words in Lecha Dodi, that Yaminu Smol Tifrotzi, you shall spread out to the right and to the left, and it brings everything together with Shabbat being in the center. Rather than Shabbat being the seventh day of the week, in this rabbi's interpretation, it's actually the fourth day of the week. Okay? Instead of counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 Shabbat, we should be, I'm not sure how far this proposal would get, but we really should, we're gifted with the image of counting 4, 5, 6 Shabbat, 1, 2, 3. So I'm not sure how far that would get, but whatever. And so concluding with the teachings then that Rabbi Oren refers to from Rabbi Chaim, a 19th century teacher, I'm going to quote this particular paragraph. As we enter this Shabbat and we reflect on the teaching of those who honor the numbers, we can ask ourselves, what is at our core? What do we place in our center, in the center of our menorah, of our enlightened existence? Does what we hold spread out and lift each of our days just a little bit? We can know that it is from a place of slowing down, of contemplation, of joy, and of renewal that all the other days are elevated. Shabbat is so much more than weekend. It is the sacred center of our lives, the center of our week, the center of the entire Jewish calendar, and it has power to illuminate everything we do. That is why it is called a menorah, something that gives light to all and to everything. With that in mind, we say Amen. We continue on page 282. Aleinu at the bottom of page 282. Again, the ark will be open. I invite you to rise and join with the enchantment. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, v'ateknu la'liotzer b'reishit, shelo asanek goyei haratzot, v'lo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkenu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim, u'modim, lifnei melech, Malchei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu Shehu Noteh Shamayim V'Yoser Haaretz U'Moshav Yekaro B'Shamayim Imahal U'Shchinatu Zo V'Govei Meheromim U'Eloheinu Eino Emet Malkeinu Efezulato Kakahatu v'torahato v'yadata hayom v'hashevota elevavecha ki Adonai hu ha'Elohim v'shamayim imahal v'al ha'aretz mitachat eino. Page 287. V'nehemar V'haya Adonai l'melech al kol ha'aretz v'yom hahu yiyeh Adonai echad u'shemo echad. Page 289. The light of life is a finite flame. Like our Shabbat candles, life is kindled, it burns, it glows, It's radiant with warmth and beauty, but soon it fades. Its substance is consumed and it is no more. In light we see, in light we are seen. Flames dance and our lives are full. As surely as night follows day, the candle of our life burns down in gutters, and there's an end to the flames. We see no more and are no more seen. Yet we do not despair, for we are more than a memory slowly fading into the darkness. With our lives we give life. Something of us can never die, for we move in an eternal cycle of darkness and death, of light and life. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth. We remember our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people whose graves are unmarked. They died al Kiddush Hashem. Those who died in the service of the forces of liberty and decency and democracy around the world, innocent victims of natural disasters and victims of senseless acts of hatred and terrorism. Those of every race and nation. Their lives have been a true blessing to humanity, and we remember them. We meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. We'll pause for a moment, invite you to consider any of the preludes to the Kaddish memorial prayer which are included in the book, or thoughts and memories of our own hearts before we continue with our Kaddish list and the memorial prayers. As a community, we think of loved ones whom death has recently taken from us. Even during this past month, we remember Fran Devine and Sol Wise. We honor those who died at this season in years past. We draw them into our hearts with our own, especially in this, the week of the anniversary of their passing, their Yortzeit. And we honor the memories of those who have been taken to their eternal home during this past year. We remember Jessica Bakke, Ralph Block, Terry Freed, Marion Friedman, Isabella Gonzalez, Jeannie Gordon, Ashley Lake Hamilton, Martin Hollander, Norman Clapman, Michelle Kohana, Jack Kramer, Werner Lawson, Isaac Richard Mayo, Janelle Mitchell, Jim Mardinley, Shmuel Shaham Ben Hanoch, Kenny Spears, Faye Starr, Bud Stein, Stephen Weig, Alan Winfield, and Loretta Ziegelman. We mark the Yahrzeit week of Kathleen Champney, Glassner, Meyer Goldberg, Simon Kornfeld, Ruth Serrata Kramer, Robert Marcus, Helen Finkelman-Roman, Esther Schron, Theodore Simon, Don Storer, Jean Tenenbaum, Yetta Weston, and Marty Workman. Are there others whose names you wish to add to this list of memory and honor? And at home as well. Zichronam livracha. May their memories truly be for a blessing, and may they rest in peace. Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, is found on page 294. Our tradition is that we rise in sympathy with those who mourn and together recite words hallowed by centuries of faith. Yit Gadal, V'yit Gadash, Shmei Rabbah, V'yalma Divrach Chirutei V'yamlich Malchutei, V'chayechon Uv'yomechon, Uv'chayedecho Beit Yisrael, B'agalav V'zman Kariv V'imru Amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah Mevarach, Lol Me'ol Maya, Yitbarach V'yishtabach, V'yitba'ar V'yitramam V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar V'yitaleh V'yitalal Shmeid Kutsha Barichu La'ela Min Kol Birchata V'shirata Tushbechata V'nechamata Da'amiran B'yolma V'imru Amen. Yehei Shlomo Rabba Min Shemaya V'chayim Aleinu V'al kol Yisrael v'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav. Hu ya'aseh shalom. Aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'al kol b'nei Adam. V'imru amen. May the one who creates harmony on high bring comfort to those amongst us who mourn. May God, in answer to our prayers, bring peace to us, to all Israel, and to all humanity, to which we say, Amen. Please be seated. And before we conclude, my thanks to those who have joined us and participated in this small holy gathering here in the sanctuary, to Meridel and Ruth Ann for helping with the technology. And announcements: tomorrow morning, 10 o'clock is Torah study. Monday morning, Sunday is bagel pickup if you have ordered, because the orders are complete. So if you between 12 and 1, that's on Sunday. Monday morning is a board meeting at 10 o'clock. Those are all by Zoom. Anything between Monday and Thursday night.
No.
Thursday night is Erev Purim. Thursday night, we invite you to join us for a Zoom room Purim that we will have that will combine the traditional reading of the Megillah. Make sure that you have a grogger, a noisemaker handy, wherever you might be. We're also going to include some YouTubes of chanting of the Megillah from various communities around the world, and various generational representatives for some of those. And then our new member, David Liebling and Laurie Sherman, are preparing a spiel, a musical interpretation of the story of Purim. So that'll be Thursday evening beginning at 7 p.m. on Zoom also. Okay, so this is experimental, but it should work. Whether you're here or whether you're at home, if you look at the words of Adon Olam on page 321, I'm going to remind you of a melody of one of the famous and traditional Purim songs, Utzu Eitzav V'Tufa. Okay, though they rise up against us, God will still deliver us, as God has in the past. So I'm going to remind you of the melody, and then invite you to join with me in making the words of Adon Olam fit to Utzu Eitzav. Okay. The hint is that you have to repeat the verse. That's the hint, right? So the melody is bum 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 bum. Dum 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 dum. Dum 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 da 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 da. Dum 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 da 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 dum 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 da 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 da. On Thursday, on Purim, we'll sing it with the traditional words. All right, but bear with me. We'll smile through this, right? Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Le'et Nasa B'chetzo Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra. Remember I said you have to repeat it. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra Le'et Nasa B'chetzo Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra. Got it? Ve'acharei kichlot ha'kol levado yimloch nora ve'hu haya ve'hu hove ve'hu yiyeh betifara ve'acharei kichlot ha'kol levado yimloch nora ve'hu haya ve'hu hove ve'hu yiyeh betifara והוא אחד ואין שני, להמשילו להכבירו, בלי ראשית ולי תכלית ולא העוז והמשרה, והוא אחד ואין שני, להמשילו להכבירה, בלי ראשית ולי תכלית ולא העוז והמשרה. I don't hear anybody else trying to do this. Oh, you're masked. That's why. Okay. Vehu eli v'chai goali, v'tzur chevli v'hitzara, vehu nisi umanos li menat kosi biyom ekra, vehu eli v'chai goali, v'tzur chevli v'hitzara, vehu nisi umanos li menat kosi biyom ekra. Last verse. Beyado afki hidruchi, Be'etishan ve'ayira, ve'imruchi gaviyati, Adonai li velo ira, be'yado avki hidruchi. Be'etishan ve'ayira, ve'imruchi gaviyati, Adonai li velo ira. Okay. Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat shalom, Shabbat, 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 Shabbat shalom. Shabbat shalom, good Shabbos, in anticipation of Chag Sameach.